what's wrong with my brain? Why does this not feel different? Why does this still feel like I'm inside a weird artificial Blender file? Yeah, when we first started talking about what a film adaptation could be, it was under the, I think, the inherent knowledge that we don't have the answer immediately, like what is a viable way into this world? You know, because I think Backrooms is very anthology-like in that historically with the series, it's a lot of different perspectives. You know, there's a desire from the audience to piece together a broader picture of timeline and whatnot, but that works for a certain kind of, certain version of this story on YouTube. Whereas, you know, for this film, the goal was very much to make something that worked for them and works for people who've never heard of the Backrooms. And so we had a few little iterations of that, ones that maybe went too far into relying on previous knowledge, ones that are maybe too culturally detached from what Backrooms, you know, need to be. And then we eventually arrived where we are. And so it's been like a 2-year period of getting that specific version of the film to where it is. We went into pre-production a year ago today, and it's been fluid. It's been an evolving process all the way down the line.
A year is crazy. It's like whenever I hear how quickly films are made, I know it's not quick. It's.
No, it feels like the longest year of my life, but yes, no, it is also very fast.
One thing I saw online, and I couldn't verify this, was when Mary first goes through the Backrooms, there's the fly.
Yeah.
And I read that the fly was just a fly that was on set.
Yeah, the fly kept coming back frequently. Yeah, no, that's true.
So was that like a happy accident where the fly landed on her and then it was written into the script? Because obviously it's quite a pivotal reason why she goes through.
So originally the fly did not go through the wall before. Originally there was some other reworking there, and so yes, happy accident, as is life and as is art in general. Lots of different points across, like most of the time that fly was real and it kept coming back and we kept referring to it as just the fly. And so it kind of forced its way, it loves the spotlight, so it got its way into the film, and we found a way to sort of work it in. Though early versions of it worked because there's a scrapped thing in that I wanted to get into the film early on before we had written it properly with the fly, pretty much. So without saying, I can't talk about it because now it would be a spoiler given everything that's changed. But yes, there was a fly component from the beginning, and it somehow found out and injected itself. So much labor goes into it, and so many people, you know, really, I can't even begin to give thanks to all the construction people on the construction team who physically were the ones putting it together while we were busy, you know, fooling around with wallpaper, color tests and stuff. It started in the same place. It started with Blender. It started with the file that I sent to the art department, and we just went back and forth on until it was, you know, it fit all the building's dimensions and everything. So creatively, it felt the same. It was just now we actually get to walk around physically inside of it. But you know, when this deep into a production, like when you're in it all the time, it starts to feel unreal anyway. So there is sort of an element of it not feeling. It's like, why does this, what's wrong with my brain? Why does this not feel more like, why does this not feel different? Why does this still feel like I'm inside a weird artificial, you know, Blender file? Except now I'm literally in it.
I don't understand. What is this?
I think you're right in saying that the Backrooms is most effective when, well, I think that the desire has always come more so from the questions being asked rather than, and this isn't to say that I don't have a very firm understanding and rule book for the way that you know, the underlying systems that prop up the narrative works. Like that's all locked in and that's been consistent through and through. But I don't think that you know, people are searching for you know, something that's too much of a bow at the end of this. I think we want to experience this phenomenon of the Backrooms through the lens of people who are, you know, different stances on. I think oftentimes there is an immense curiosity about trying to figure it out. These characters trying to figure out these characters, trying to experience more of it, and we experience it alongside them. And the best, you know, tools they have is really just their own perception of these things. And like any science, all we have is our best guess. So treating it like an organic thing that we can't quite, there's no ambassador of the Backrooms or a rule book that says for sure this is the truth, but we have people articulating the best possible construction of what they think they've seen, and we're with the audience, or we're with the characters for that, so we can sort of do the same. I think it's treating it that way.
I'm not saying I don't believe you.
Okay, I'm not gonna come back here with proof.
Humans are not built to, like, we are not made to perceive reality as exactly as it is. Everything we think and feel and sense is derivative of, you know, the path we've gone down evolutionarily, and we are just seeing the sliver that, you know, works for us as mammals that, you know, ultimately need to create more of ourselves and need to be a successful species. So we have a lot of sort of vestiges in our brains that are not necessarily relevant or not immediately emotionally relevant, and the ways in which, like, our memory has formed and the way it paves over itself. Like the goal is not to hold reality perfectly. The goal is to try to predict the future and survive better the next time we do something. And so sort of looking at, you know, you can kind of imagine the Backrooms is maybe working on a similar logic, but you don't know that. It kind of visually feels similar, and I think it's mostly the characters and the way they talk that colors the Backrooms as being maybe that. But I think generally speaking, we're seeing, you know, the over-reliance on previous events in one's life to try to pave into the future, the ways in which the past is not really real. It's largely or the imprint that we have to really speak about the past is only really existing within us in a meaningful emotional sense. So just the ways in which we don't quite we can't quite see ourselves fully, and we're kind of fighting the I guess the cognitive biology there a little bit is the bit that I like to build from. And obviously that's all very esoteric and talking about it, but I think it comes through in that way.